Hi, it's Neil here. Before we start today's show, I wanted to let you know that I've teamed up with my friends at HireEct this month. And HireEct is the first chat-based hiring app for startups. And what I love about HireEct is it takes everyone away from the dreaded email inbox and waiting around for responses. Think of it like WhatsApp for recruiting. And the HireEct app brings together recruiters and job seekers so they can directly connect with each other. And this allows recruiters and job seekers to communicate more and receive quick feedback. And the HireEct app also uses advanced technology to efficiently map job seekers and recruiters, all based on their preferences and behaviour. So you can improve your chances of reaching inbox zero, accelerate your hiring process 10 times faster than those traditional ways, all by chatting and interviewing candidates anytime, anywhere, on any device. So I invite you all to download the HireEct app for free from the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. That's HireEct, spelled H-I-R-E-C-T. Give it a try, let me know what you think. But on with today's show.
Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where I am officially quite excited about getting today's guest on the podcast because his name is Rob D'Amico and he's from a company called Avid, which is empowering media creators with innovative technology and collaborative tools to entertain, inform, educate and enlighten the world. That is the mission that they're all on there. And one of the reasons I've invited them on the podcast today is I'm passionate about getting people on here and sharing their story of the companies that help bring content to life. For example, if you've got a Spotify or Apple Music subscription, you'll find a song, find the best quality and stream it straight to your phone, but you don't think about how it gets there. And AvidPLay, Avid's subscription-based independent music distribution service, is enabling independent artists and labels to distribute their Dolby Atmos tracks directly to Apple Music Spatial audio. And Apple Music is just the latest streaming service with the largest user base to receive Atmos tracks directly from AvidPLay, because the distribution service has already delivered immersive audio to Amazon Music and Tidal since, I think it was 2020. So I want to learn more about the technology, how it makes it easy for artists and labels to distribute and monetize their music, and so much more. But enough spoilers from me. Buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Boston so we can speak with Rob D'Amico about all this and much more. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the invite, Neil. And my name is Rob D'Amico. I'm the Senior Director of Product Management for Audio Services at Avid. And, I've been at Avid, altogether, this is my second time here. It's about 21 years, believe it or not. It's been an amazing journey from my earlier years of college and just learning about music and recording. I've been, in the industry for over 25 years, doing music and audio production, from playing, performing, drums, recording, producing music, and also worked as a freelancer for Audio Post, doing like independent films and documentaries, actually. So my lifelong passion has been in audio and in production forever. And I'm very fortunate at this time to be able to bring that passion to building products and solutions at my role at Avid for the market and the industry, which has really been a pleasure to do. And my goal in all that is really to help enable and inspire artists, upcoming musicians, to have the tools to be more creative in the work that they're doing or the productions they're producing.
And this is an audio-only podcast, but for the benefit of everyone listening around the world, we're chatting today. We've got video on Zoom, and a quick look behind you. I can see your passion firsthand with every instrument known to man behind you. You've got the full setup there. It's amazing what you've got there. But I've got to ask, I mean, can you share your origin story and where your passion for technology and music came from, and how those worlds collided and what put you on this path you're on today?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, it goes as far back as when I was 13 and I got my first drum set. You know, it was at that point where, prior to getting the drum set, you know, my parents saw me just banging away on pillows. I actually created a drum set in my bedroom based on pillows just to play to Led Zeppelin back in the day. And that's really how I got really so interested in just music. And then that led me, honestly, like as I got my first drum set and started playing with people in the neighborhood, I bought a 4-track Tascam recorder. And to me, that was like, oh my God, the world opened up to the possibilities of creating like sound and recording music and just playing around with just different techniques of capturing the sound to get an idea on tape. And that really honestly led me to my journey into college, where I went to college for the art of learning the art of recording and music performance at a college called UMass Lowell here in Massachusetts. And that experience, I have to say, just exposed me to not only the technologies out there doing from 2-track to 8-track to 24-track tape recording and techniques there, and learning from what, gosh, is not really used much anymore, and applying that to digital recording and techniques that you can now do with plugins. It was just an experience that really led me to where I am today and how I think about music production, and also wanting to share those experiences with products that we, you know, and influencing the products that we build for up and coming music creators or audio producers. And I also have to say that for those of you listening that are thinking about going to college or you know, figuring out your next path in your journey of your career, what college did for me also was enabled me to meet certain people that I would have never met before in my life. And that networking possibility led me to basically doors that were opened for me to then take this journey on. Like, a lot of people I met in college are the same people that I know and am very close with today, that actually helped me get to where I am today by opening the doors. And then obviously, you know, it's all on yourself to make the most out of it. But you know, that cliche of networking at college and those people you meet in college, it's actually, it's true. I'm living proof of that and what I'm able to do today and what I'm doing today. So yeah, that's kind of where my journey started. And it's a great thing to share with folks, and hopefully it inspires others to get that same opportunity.
Yeah, such a great and powerful story that you've had there as well, and journey that you've been on. And that path did lead you to AvidPLay, which is a subscription-based independent music distribution service that essentially allows independent artists and labels to distribute their Dolby Atmos tracks directly to Apple Music Spatial audio. But can you set the scene and tell the listeners a little bit more about the kind of problems that you solve and who uses AvidPLay?
Yeah, well, AvidPLay was developed and designed to make music distribution easy and really affordable for the independent market, like artists, bands, and also independent labels, folks that are just wanting to start up their own label for other artists that may not have that technical background, but want to get their music out to the rest of the world. So it was important for us to really take a look at the market, and like what we found with some of the other services out there. We wanted to make sure our customers can release their music, one, in the highest quality audio possible, up to 192 kilohertz, 24-bit audio. So we wanted to make sure that that delivery process really unaltered any part of your music that you uploaded. Not only that, being able to support all the latest formats, like you just mentioned, Dolby Atmos music. Over the past year, there's been just a exponential curve in that people want to learn more about what Dolby Atmos music is all about. How do you experience it? What does it mean? Is it here to stay or not? And we are very close with the folks over at Dolby, and we have a lot of integrations already part of our other tools and products that we deliver as a solution to the market. And it made sense that, in talking with them, that we included that possibility to distribute the highest quality format on the market today in Dolby Atmos music via AvidPlay for that independent market. Because right before we did that last year, the only way to get music in Atmos distributed to Tidal and Amazon Music at that time was a record label, had to have direct connection. There was no other way to get Atmos music on those platforms. So we were the first to do that. And obviously, once Apple took on the ability to stream spatial audio back in June, we were positioned really well to be able to bring all our catalog, our artists over to that platform for even more exposure of their music. So that's really important for us. But also, as I kind of look through some of my notes here, it was really important also when we did some investigation in the market, there were all these hidden costs. So once you landed with a distributor, along the journey of distributing your music, you'd get kind of hit up with, oh, if you want to do this, it's going to cost you extra. If you want to do this, it's going to cost you. And some of those things that we found were really, honestly, unnecessary for just a simple distribution service. Yeah, there's needs for certain add-ons along the way, but there are some things like, setting future release dates or being able to distribute to future outlets that come onto your service, or in the case of Dolby Atmos, not every service is streaming that. So what we've been able to do is that you hit a button and all of a sudden you're set up to say, when there's a new format that any of these services support or a new streaming service that is supported, distribute your music to them automatically. And we do that without any extra cost. So that was really important for us to be able to set up that independent artist for that capability. But also, as you know, with bands and even artists, there are many folks contributing to a track, to a song, to an album. And we felt that it was really important that you should be able to set up credits and earning splits across contributors without any extra charge. So that is another area of an example that we felt that we're making a difference there and really giving back to that community and saying, look at you, by distributing your music with AvidPlay, you can now also share your earnings, which, by the way, 100% goes to you. There's no commissions that we take on your music that gets streamed, that you have the freedom to distribute your earnings through any amount of contributors to that track as you see fit. You own that and manage that. So those are some real key differences that I feel is important that you get with AvidPlay that you may not get with other services.
Love that. And of course, Apple Music is the latest streaming service with the largest user base to receive Atmos tracks directly from AvidPlay. And the distribution service has already delivered immersive audio to big names such as Amazon Music and Tidal since 2020. But could you provide possibly a use case of how it all works, just to bring to life everything that we're talking about here for everyone listening?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, for those that may not be familiar with what even Dolby Atmos music is, it's a newer format for music lovers to really experience. I mean, I don't know if you've experienced any music in Atmos yet, but It's an amazing format to experience as a artist producing and creating music, but also for the consumer listening to it. It allows that listener to be placed really, not to get too technical here, but in the center of an immersive soundscape, right? And you can hear every detail of every sonic quality that music has, basically all around you, like you've never been able to experience before. Everything in the past has been just compressed into just two speakers in the front. This format enables you to remove a lot of the hard compressions that has been used in the past to get all this information into just two speakers. It opens up dynamics of your music and spatial awareness of where you're placing your music in the soundscape. So it's really an amazing format just to experience in general before I get into how you do it. So I highly recommend you just go and listen to your favorite music that has been now either remixed in Atmos or remixed in Atmos. So how this all works. So there's some really easy steps to getting music distributed in Atmos, but also in stereo. One thing that you really need to be aware of, I guess, in the process of producing your music and creating your final mix files, is that there are some requirements you need to adhere to for the music to be accepted into, like, say, Apple Music or Amazon Music or Tidal. And that is like, it's an ADM file. So when you export out of your Pro Tools or your production suite, you make sure that it's at 48 kilohertz, 24-bit. It's time stamped with 24 FIPS time code. So that way, all that, once that is done, it's just uploading this file into AvidPLay and basically hitting send. A couple other things to consider when mixing is that your true peaks don't exceed -1 dB, and your loudness should not exceed -18 lux. And it's kind of technical information for you, but just bringing this awareness to the users as they're getting into mixing and engineering their music independently, that there are certain specifications that you should learn about to adhere to, so that way you don't get tripped up when you try to hit that distribute button, because they will be rejected from the different DSPs if they don't meet certain specifications. So that's something to learn more about. But once all your file is prepared for distribution, right, your stereo matches the same length and name as your ADM file, it's basically you upload it into AvidPlay, you upload your artwork, so you can do singles, EPs, albums, all within AvidPlay. And then it's really about filling out the metadata for each track. So you'd fill in, like, as an example, your track title, your primary artist, a featured artist. You have genres to choose from that your music is relating to, languages, the parental advisory info. You could insert lyrics. You could also, which is very cool, is you can set in your track where you want your track to be previewed. So some outlets say, if a user is not subscribing, and they want to hear some music, they'll be able to listen to a certain preview section of a track. Well, you can set your track preview area to say the chorus, the most catchy part, to get someone attracted to want to listen to. So you can set that up on your own. And then there's the section of AvidPlay that is all for adding your participants or your contributors to that track. And that's where you add the person's name, you add their role to the track, and also if they're going to get any earnings for contributing to that track. And then you go to your outlets, choose which outlet you want to distribute to, and hit send. That's it. That's as easy as it can be. And we really make sure that this process is very self-guiding. The software really steps you through every process in a nice, easy manner.
And I thoroughly recommend Radiohead's OK Computer, especially Let Down. A couple of minutes in, Tom York harmonising with himself, one in each ear, blows my mind, makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. But for artists, they can use the AvidPLay dashboard to manage their tracks and albums and monitor song performance and earnings. But can you expand on why it's so needed and why we need this end-to-end solution for today's creators? Because I suspect that a lot of people love their music, but they don't experience the pain that creators and artists are going through.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, honestly, and when we talk to artists and even labels, because AvidPlay is really also made for independent labels to be able to offer to artists, but also engineers that mix a lot of clients. They have an opportunity to actually be able to create their own label for their clients. So it's a business opportunity for them using AvidPlay to be a distributor for others. And you can have multiple plans associated with that with your one account, with your label account. And so why it's important to get back to your question about the metrics, all the performance of a song or an album or a release is really important to know how your music is performing in the world, right? And so we allow insights to location for a song, a track, a release of an album. So this can help inform you which outlets are performing really well. So is your music performing better on Amazon versus Tidal, or is Apple really the leader of where your music's being consumed? So you can have insights to all this information, all this detail that can inform your marketing efforts, right? So you may want to put more effort as a band that you're trying to get discovered into certain areas of the world, or even different platforms that you actually want to be more exposed on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or some of these other outlets. And so I should say not metadata, but the reports are really important to help inform what your next steps could be to help bring more exposure, a bigger fan base to music that you're releasing.
And I'm curious, what kind of feedback have you received from creators and artists? Do you get to hear much of or any feedback from them?
Yeah, it's really important for us to stay connected with our customers. We actually, so in order to access the AvidPlay service, it's integrated into a free product called AvidLink. AvidLink is an application that is on your phone, so you can distribute through your mobile device, and see your stats through your mobile device, but also as a desktop. And embedded in AvidLink is a community, and what I refer to as lounges, where you can go to and learn from others like-minded musicians. You can connect with others to collaborate with. But we also have a section in there for feedback. And specifically for AvidPlay, there's a lounge for our customers to go to ask us questions, give us input to feature requests and what capabilities that they would love to see us adopt in the future. And that's super, super important. So some of the things, more positive things that we've heard about the service is that, one, it's super easy to release. People didn't realize how actually easy it is to just get their music up on Spotify. There's this it's got to be difficult because it's so widespread kind of mentality to it, but in reality, it's really, really easy to get your music out to the rest of the world. Another piece of feedback that we've gotten is that they really appreciate the quality that we support. Many other outlets, or I should say distributors, really only support 44 116-bit still from the CD quality days. We obviously expand to the highest sample rates possible in bit depth. So that's really been another factor that people want their music be maintained untouched from that distribution process. And the ability just being able to give credits and split earnings has been another big, I guess, capability that our customers are really appreciative of throughout this journey. I mean, we've been live now for just over 2 years, so we are constantly learning. That's kind of my methodology to developing product and service. Is it has to be a feedback loop with the customers, because we want to make sure that we're solving the challenges and needs of our target audience, and the only way to do that is to actually talk to them. And I use these lounges to really have that one-on-one conversations with them, but also, as a group setting, so we can, many of the customers can provide their perspective on a capability or what they would like to see going forward. So that's super important to me. I can't stress that enough. We don't have a product unless it's actually serving the needs of our target audience. So it's a partnership. I look at it as.
Love that. And I think it's great news for anybody listening, especially independent artists who may have thought that it was just too daunting to tackle a topic like this. And you did say it was incredibly easy. So if we do have an artist listening who is interested in distributing music through AvidPLay, can you just walk me through what to expect and how to get the most out of the platform for somebody listening to our conversation today who are heading to your website now?
Yeah, I would say, play around with it. You can get into trying to just distribute one track, a single for $5 for a whole year. Like, you can just get your music up on all the different DSPs. DSPs are the outlets, streaming outlets like Spotify, Apple Music, for $5. That's you can just go for it. And it, like I said, it's very simple to just go ahead and distribute. The software is very self-explanatory, but also if you need the support, right within that same tool is our lounges for asking questions to the community. But also I often am on those lounges to give feedback along with my team. And yeah, I just recommend that you just try it, get through the demystifying it all and just go for it. It's really easy. If you have music that your fans want to hear, there's nothing stopping you. I wish, like when I was telling you about my background when I was 13, recording in my family's basement, I wish we had this technology back then. And that's really, to get back to that earlier question, that's what's inspiring to me, to be able to give back to that next generation, because I never had that growing up. When I was in many bands and performing, it was a big deal to just go get a CD printed and, pass that out at gigs. Well, now with AvidPLay, what we also enable are marketing tools, right? So if you want to, as a band, you're playing your next gig now. Hopefully we're all gigging now that the pandemic is hopefully in your area subsiding and we're actually getting back to playing live music. We offer free QR codes of your album. And what that means is that you can print on poster boards for your gig or hand out cards at your gig where you would normally hand out CDs. And basically you go and scan that QR code and it brings you to a listing of all the outlets that you're distributing to for your fans to go and pick their service that they subscribe to, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and click on it. And now they have immediate access to your music. And they can follow you on those different services. And again, that all helps you earn more money because all that money goes directly into your account. So yeah, I mean, I can't express it enough that it's really easy to do. And I just recommend you just try it.
Man, I'm just guilty now that I can't play any instruments or hold a tune, but you've certainly inspired me to want to give it a try. But what's next for AvidPLay? Where do you go from here? Is there anything you can share about the road ahead, especially now the world of live music is opening back up?
Yeah, which is so great to see. Well, where our road is ahead is really, like I was saying earlier, our roadmap is developed based on our customers' needs and what they're giving us as important feedback to develop into the service. So stuff like offering publishing, sync licensing, royalty tracking mechanisms, or more integrated marketing tools, playlisting services, that type of stuff. Video distribution. A lot of the outlets now are accompanying people's or musicians' music with videos, and so we're going to continue to develop into offering those types of capabilities in the future, along with hopefully podcast distribution. That's another thing that we see as an opportunity for the service to offer, again, not only musician artists, but also other audio folks in the market. And we're going to constantly have our ear to the ground of what the customer and our target audiences need, and work that into our roadmap, and work, like I was saying, as a partnership to develop what that actually really is. So our roadmap, I like to keep a section of it open for being more fluent and agile to input from our customers.
Incredibly cool. And if I take you back in time for a few moments, we started the conversation talking about your origin story, and I want to take you back to that 13-year-old kid in your garage there, and you're making music, and then the journey that you've been on. What has been the soundtrack to that journey? Is there a particular song or piece of music that has accompanied you throughout that you always come back to? If you've got a song and story you can share with us, I'll add that song to our Spotify playlist. So I'm quite excited about this one. What you got for me?
This one's a tough one, I have to say. It really is. Like, I was thinking about this, and it's not so much one particular song. It's actually just, gosh, with today's world of making your own playlists, I just it's very much heavily populated with Foo Fighters. I'm a rock and roll guy at heart. Linkin Park is a favorite of mine, but also the classics. Led Zeppelin. I grew up with John Bonham on drums. Just learning. Trying to learn a lot of his footwork and fills that he would just so tastefully put into every song. Something could be so simple like the Levy Breaks. That drum beat is just so epic, right? And just something so simple but just so meaningful gets me excited every time I hear it. But yeah, my tastes, they're all over the place. I can be inspired by just something that sounds really, really amazing. A great mix, a great beat. No particular person might be actually performing it, but it's just filled with just great music from all sorts of artists. So I know that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but this one's just such a challenge to me. Imagine Dragons, another one. Like the production, the production of their music is just, when you sit back and just listen to it, if you're really into like the different sound sources and mixing techniques, a lot of their music has some amazing drumming and overdubbing of just layers of sounds that have these textures to them that just gets me excited to listen to and inspired, actually.
Love that. No problem at all. And before I let you go, for anybody wanting to find out more about AvidPLay, contact your team, ask a few questions, what is the best starting point?
Yeah, thank you, by the way, Neil, and all the listeners out there. The best way to learn more about what we're doing here at Avid is avid.com/AvidPLay. And that would get you to the website to learn more about AvidPLay, but also to learn more and to participate and join the community, which is free. You can go to avidlink.com and learn about all the community aspects that you can join. You can find other like-minded musicians to collaborate with. You can filter based on, instrument that they play or talents. So you can, if they're in your area, you can form a band or form a relationship and network to, again, lead you to, you don't know where. Like that, as I was saying with my college experience, meeting people from around the world is so important for where your future is going to go. And you never know until you actually go out and start networking.
Well, I've loved listening to your story today, and I think we must be men of a certain age, but the fact that right here, right now in 2021, anybody, anywhere can form their own band. They've got access to a Dolby Atmos enabled digital audio workstation. They can manage their tracks and albums and monitor song performance and earnings and push it to every platform that people are listening to music on and be opening themselves up to be discovered. It's just phenomenal. It was the stuff that both you and I grew up wishing for, and now it's empowered just about everybody out there. It's fantastic, and more than anything, it's great hearing your stories, that 13-year-old lad in that garage there, and to where you are now. So thank you so much for your inspirational story and that journey that you've been on.
Thank you very much, Neil, and thank you everyone for listening and hearing my story. I really appreciate it. Hope our paths cross more in the future.
Wow, I just love how they're using technology and collaborative tools to enable creators to help them entertain, inform, educate, or enlighten the world. This is all at the heart of the content that we all consume. But as with most things in modern society, we seldom look under the hood, take a peek behind the curtain, and appreciate all the technology that makes it possible. Well, big takeaway there was the Dolby Atmos enabled digital audio workstation and how it helps artists manage their tracks and albums and monitor song performance and earnings, etc. Again, from the artist's point of view, all these things are critical. So I hope you learnt a few things today. I know I certainly did. And even after we finished recording, I was chatting away with Rob about music, the live music scene, and so much more. Real top bloke, as they would say over here in the UK. But over to you. If you're an artist, if you've used Avid, anything at all, I'd love to hear your thoughts, experiences, insights. Keep them coming over as always. And remember, you can email me directly, techblogwriter@outlook.com. You can get me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram at Neil C. Hughes. And my website is techblogwriter.co.uk. So a big thank you to Rob for coming on and sharing the story today. And also a big thank you to each and every one of you for listening to this podcast and staying with me till the end. But I'll be back again tomorrow with another story from the world of tech. So please, if you've enjoyed today's episode, subscribe and join me again tomorrow, and I'll be waiting once again, hiding in your podcast feeds. But a big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.